I welcome you this morning to our weekly national conference call. If you remember, it's a conference call where we here at Gordon Marketing call it an agent who is making it happen. I hope that doesn't sound too dorky to you because I definitely mean that from my heart. The agents that you get the absolute blessing of being able to take a little peek into their world, an agent who is truly making it happen. And you know where I really emphasize on three, just very briefly, three parts of a person's life when you're making it happen. That's in your personal income, your family, and your client's life. Because if you make it happen in your personal income, how it affects everything you do, and especially for me, not only with my walk with the Lord, but I immediately go to my family and how it affects them. And gosh, I celebrate with my family a couple different times of the year, but one of the times that is a we could not do it without making it happen for clients in my life with the very expensive trip last week to Disney. Oh my goodness, it is just phenomenal to be able to be with family and to be able to do some things that we would never be able to even comprehend to do without money. It is a driving force to be able to make it happen for these clients out there. If you want to give all of your money away, my goodness, think of the blessings that you would be to other people, to your church, to charities, if you had more money. So you can do phenomenal things if you just simply go and make it happen, just like the agent that we have on this morning. I am so incredibly excited to be able to introduce you guys to an agent who, oh goodness, I guess Doug's probably about maybe 8 hours west of Indianapolis, where I'm based out of. And yet, through the phone, through webinars that I've done personally for Doug and his team, through voicemails, through talking on the phone, through emails, I'm excited to be able to let you take a little peek into what's happening in Doug's world. Before anything else, though, I am so excited to be able to introduce you guys to the gal who definitely makes this call one of the cheerier calls, just because of her personality and how important Becky is to me being able to run smoothly here. She and Jason, if you remember, Jason did these calls that we do every Tuesday and every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Tuesday is our training webinar. Friday is a little bit more of our celebration call, our conference call. So if you're on the computer, if you undock your question box, when we have Doug on, you shoot any question you want from him. If you're just getting going with a mortgage protection program for your own personal business or for your team, wow, this is an incredible opportunity for you to be able to ask Doug any question. And you type them there and if you're on the computer. If not, I won't be able to hear you if you're on the phone. I know we have anywhere from 30 to 50 agents on a weekly basis that connect to us by just a phone. You're limited though because of you don't have that question box. You can put it on on your iPhone or on your Android and actually run that same application. But Becky, I am excited that you're with us this morning, and you have some just absolutely silly numbers, I think, to share about some of our team this last week. Are you on the phone with us, Becky?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, you are coming through bright and clear. Uh, have at it. My goodness, I think we're going to shock some agents of what the life insurance business can do to help not only your clients but of course themselves as well.
Okay, so for the second week of December, the top annuity producers are coming in at number 4. We have Doug Dries with one submitted annuity for $125,000. In number 3, We have Eric Coons with 1 submitted annuity for $125,000. Number 2 is Tommy Lee Paget with 2 submitted annuities for $247,322. And coming in at first in the nation is Randy Petrez with 2 submitted annuities for $437,000.
Nice.
Moving on to our mortgage protection team. Coming in at number 16, we have Farzan Zarandi with 1 submitted application for $1,044. And number 15 is Rob Picanos with 2 submitted applications for $1,143. And number 14 is John Coley with 2 submitted applications for $1,849. In number 13, we have Del Rice with 2 submitted applications for $2,061. In number 12 spot this week is Leslie Schofield Hilker with 7 submitted applications for $2,166. And number 11 is Mr. Tim Lankford with 2 submitted applications for $2,360. And number 10, we have Thomas Johnson with 7 submitted applications for $3,077. And number 9, we have Carla Ladd with 2 submitted applications for $4,289. And number 8 is David Farmer with 7 submitted applications for $4,428. And number 7, we have Frank Indris with 8 submitted applications for $5,400. And number 6 is Danielle Byrne with 3 submitted applications for $6,407. In number 5 spot this week is Ginger Barnes with 5 submitted applications for $7,181. Coming in at number 4 is Josh Savak with 14 submitted applications for $7,832. Coming in third is Doug Boyd with 5 submitted applications for $9,009. In the second spot this week is Charles Fisher with 4 submitted applications for $14,422. And in our number 1 spot for the second week of December, we have Mark Huber with 1 submitted application for $1 million.
Excuse me?
That's what it says, Tim.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Huber. Thank you, Becky. We appreciate you for bringing your bright cherry voice to this call. A couple numbers that I absolutely have to go over with you guys before we get Doug on the call here. I want you to take note of well, just real quickly, Doug Boyd, Ginger Barnes, and Del Rice. Very key. You'll hear a little bit in a few minutes when we get Doug on here, but that's Doug's team that he's building out in Missouri. And then you've got Josh Sivak. Josh, of course, with 14 applications. He is really taking the, hey, let's do an accidental application. If there's an opportunity to do a final expense when I'm sitting in a home doing a mortgage protection application, my goodness, Josh, that is awesome. I am so happy for you. But Josh Sivak, Daniel Byrne, David Farmer, Thomas Johnson, Leslie Schofield Hilliker, those are all on Joshua's team. Remember, we've had Josh on here talking about why he's over $200,000 for the year. Well, there you go. And then we've got to just spend just a minute talking about Mark Huber. Mark, that is actually two other persons that I want to also give a little bit of time to, but Mark is he is at a very blessed position in his life where he can touch base with a couple of very influential persons who have a very high net worth. Mark has been working on this client that he just submitted this week on an IUL. On an IUL, he is due a little bit different when you are paid on an IUL. You get paid on target premium. Without going into it this morning, but we show what that the annualized premium dollars of an IUL. This particular client is doing 5 years of $1 million dumps. Again, this is not the time to talk about it, but Mark himself, I know Mark will allow me to share with you, but on writing this one annuity, Mark is going to make over six figures on this one, on this one IUL. How about that, guys? Congratulations, Mark. That is just gives a lot of agents, I hope, take the blinders off when you're sitting with folks. Make sure you are uh, seeing how you could protect your client's future. And then we've got to make a quick mention. Frank is taking the mantle and running with it. Number 7 in the nation this week, just a couple weeks old with us. 8 applications this week for $5,400. Nice job there, Frank. Doug Boyd. Doug is an agent who I met with. Doug is on Josh Zettler's team. Josh is a agent who's been running with Gordon Marketing for several years. And Josh and I first met just at our expo when I came aboard with Gordon Marketing in February. I met Josh just a couple years into it, and he said, "How can you help my agents create another business?" Another line of insurance sales because they are very heavy in the P&C and MedSup world. And Mark Huber happened to be one of the persons who has taken this mantle, running with it. Tim Barnes and Doug Boyd and a couple other agents, but these guys are the ones kind of poking their heads up saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. And I love to work with anybody who says, hey, help me run with this thing. Thank you for your patience. I know I'm running behind and getting caught up from being out all last week, but I promise you, I will get together with you and look forward to helping you personally in any way that I can. But Doug, well, let's hear it from Doug. Instead of me describing it too much, Doug, do I have you on the phone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Doug. Good morning. I can't speak highly enough of you of how you've taken this mantle, this system, and not only implemented it in your personal sales. That you've been doing what, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 in a month. And I know when you've shared some numbers with me and the numbers that we show on our books for this last week, we may be adding a couple applications in from a previous week, but my goodness, to be able to show you at $9,000 for this week, you'll probably go over $10,000 for the month of December, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And now a couple agents whom you've hired, and just proud of you in so many ways. Share with everybody who's listening some thoughts on maybe transitioning your business a little bit from out of traditional life insurance, now looking more at the mortgage protection. Has it always been smoothly? What's been some of the hurdles and now some of the successes in just what, 2, 3, 4 months? Crazy numbers.
Right. Well, trying to make, I guess, my long story short, I've been an agent just in the insurance world just a couple of years. And as you said, a member of my family, Josh Zettler, owns the Freedom Brokers Agency. And kind of out of necessity, I asked if I could join, and he brought me in. But one of my issues was I live out in the Kansas City area, and Josh is located in Southern Illinois, where I'm originally from. And you know, all I was able to do was, you know, med sups, you know, Medicare Advantage plans, things of that nature. And I was dabbling here and dabbling there. And, you know, you make a few thousand here, and then that season's over. And then you make a few thousand here, and then you got to figure out something else to sell for a while. And I was a little bit out here by myself, and, you know, really searching for a niche, something that I could get into and just really focus on, and you know, just kind of grind it out, and not be spread out, but be very streamlined. And whenever I was introduced to this concept, and like you said, we had that dinner back in February or March in Indianapolis, and I just, number one, I trusted you. I knew you weren't lying about what you had been doing. I knew that instantly, and I just put everything else aside, and I kind of asked Josh on the way home from that dinner. I said, you know, hey, we don't have much of a presence in the Kansas City market with Freedom Brokers. You know, would you let me build a team if I got really serious about doing that? And he gave me the freedom to do it, and said go for it. And so since last March, my major focus has been trying to learn this, both for myself and how to build a team. So I hope that answer didn't bore you, but that's kind of how it panned out for me.
No, that's your point on. That is exactly what I was looking for, wanting our agents to be able to hear that. Yeah, you're not somebody who has 3,500 years in the insurance business, but that when you and I met, you brought a willing spirit. And guys, the more that you come to me and say, hey, pour into me, mold me, I'm a piece of clay, the more I can work with you, and the more that, quite frankly, I'll be interested in working with you. If you're bringing me a finished product and say, hey, just tweak me, I'm good over here, then I'll probably just encourage you to go and run on your own. But when Doug came and said, Tim, I want a six-figure income plus, and he is already way past the finish line of, or with the goals to get to the finish line of well over six figures just here within the last few months of what groundwork he's doing. So with that spirit and attitude, that just tells me the spirit and the attitude that Doug's going to have when he's sitting with clients. If you're a finished product and you gosh, my wife will say he thinks he's all that, or she thinks she's all that, then I really question how sincere and how humble you can be in front of your clients. When you meet Doug, when you meet Josh, his mentor, you can immediately fall in love with these guys. Not only, okay, I'll share it, you guys know me, of their personal walk with Jesus Christ, but also because of, take that even out of the picture, because of their humility. And I had a wonderful teacher this last week at church that said, you know, humility isn't a matter of thinking less of yourself. Catch this, guys. When I was talking about trust on Tuesday, humility is not thinking less of yourself. Oh, woe is me. I'm such dirt of the earth. I'm scum. No, that's not humility that the good book teaches. Humility is thinking of yourself less. Oh, I love that. So in other words, thinking more often of others. And that's what Doug does. And I believe that's the spirit that if you will bring to your clients, to the folks that we're trying to protect, Doug is now you've not only taken this mantle and said, I'm running with it, but now you've got Ginger, you've got Dell, who in just the last 3 weeks, just taking those two, they've averaged over 3,000 a week. When you add up the two of them, divide by their production and divide by two, what are you doing there to be able to implement or be able to, I know it's a matter of finding the right people, but it's also what are you doing to help them get a running start?
Well, what you said about finding the right people, you know, in my early times, and I was advertising, and I was interviewing and I was looking for agents. It was funny, Ginger and I went to Springfield yesterday. I made a 3-hour trip yesterday to run leads, and we were talking on the phone as I was driving home late last night. And, you know, 19 out of 20 I didn't want to have anything to do with, but I met Ginger probably a year and a half ago, and I just, it was one of those things, I knew she was the right person. I just knew she was going to be successful at it, but she was one of those, she'd been teetering on a fence of in the insurance world and wasn't doing real well, wasn't real committed to anything, but she's got an incredible work ethic. So, I mean, first of all, as we get into some of the successes down the way, she's a workhorse. I mean, she absolutely, it's like 6 or 7 days a week and 24/7. We're talking about this business, building it up, and not to kind of get off your question, but having the right people that really want to do it is key. And as far as the training, you know, I was kind of training myself, and I was going out into homes feeling like I don't have, I'm talking 3 or 4 months ago, like I don't really know the first thing to say when I go to this home, but I'm going to try to copy some of the things that your scripts and things you had been talking about on the calls. So I wasn't confident at all, and I just started going into the homes and doing it and figured I would learn, you know, the school of hard knocks. And then I started taking Ginger on some appointments with me. And she was still kind of working another job and kind of what I call dabbling in this part-time. And then she only got really fully committed, and I did let her go on a few calls by herself during the time she was working somewhere else. But till about 3 weeks ago, she was not committed full-time. But when she wrapped up and finished her other job, she said, hey, starting on this day, I'm full-time, and she hasn't stopped for 3 weeks. And she's good. She's good in the home. Her average per application is probably double mine. You know, I hope to sell as good as her someday the way she's doing. But it was nothing more than us talking about, you know, the products and the process, getting her on the calls like this with you, the training calls, and getting her for a little while to go into the homes with me and hope that I was a good example. And that's ultimately, and from there I've just kind of turned her loose, and she's killing it.
Fantastic. So much of it is just connecting with people and, you know, running on our leads, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So we've got folks, we've got a lead that people are filling out. And I really hate calling them leads. I call them responder forms because if you look at the lead, and I know we white out the middle of it for you to sometimes make some notes, but what the middle is, every one of these that go out to the home, because other companies, you and I could go and set up our own lead company if we want to do the research and we want to do all the printing. It will cost us on average about $90 when we get that lead back. It's going to cost us. I've ran the numbers. Trust me, we've been in the business for 23 years. I've ran where I could do this myself, and it's going to cost me on average, I'm getting a 0.9% return. I'm hoping for at least. It's going to cost me about $90 a lead. We charge $41.20 a lead. You get 10 leads a week. You need to make one sale to make money. That's it, because you'll make money on one sale out of 10 leads. If you're not at least on that 4, 5, 6 out of 10, we need to talk more. You need to be in the webinars more. You need to hear more like persons like Doug, because the lead, they've responded saying, I want you to come talk to me. They give us a phone number. We have their address. We have the mortgage company. We have the mortgage amount. They've said, I don't want my home to go back to the bank when I die. Guys, that's what Doug and Ginger and Dell are doing. They're running out on our leads. What's been one of the key points when you've been in the home, or when you've sat with Ginger? Would you say that it's connecting with people and just making sure that you say, okay, let's go over here with Mutual Omaha, or let's go over here with Phoenix. Am I making it too simplistic?
Well, again, part of Ginger and I's conversation last night is a little bit of kind of chuckling about how, and I use this word lightly, how easy it is. There's parts of it that seem very simple and rewarding, but granted, I'm being very serious when I'm telling you 6 and 7 days a week. Right now I'm running leads, I'm training them. I'm doing something pertaining to this business, it feels like, around the clock. Kind of the other thing you said about the book, kind of I'm out of balance to find balance. And so right now this is my focus. So I don't want it to sound like, hey, it's just easy, you don't have to do much. But sometimes the sale is incredibly easy because, I still get homes I go to and they want to know why I don't have a tool belt on, or they think, one guy thought I was coming to measure his garage. And, I just go to the next one. And with the amount of leads we've been talking about people purchasing or getting on a weekly basis, you ought to be able to stumble in, and I mean literally just accidentally stumble in to 1 or 2 decent sales a week, which could make you a reasonable living. I don't think you have to be really, really good at all. I think the better you get and the more educated on all the products and the smoother your presentation ultimately becomes, I think that's what can set you apart and increase those close rates and those sales numbers where you really make a lot of money. But I think you could get 10 to 15 leads a week, and I think if you call them, set your appointments, work them while they're fresh, and got into 6, 7, 8 homes a week, I think you could stumble into two nice sales a week. That's how I feel about it, Tim.
Absolutely perfectly said, and I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, there are just absolute, I don't know any better way, it sounds crude, but there are absolute laydowns. Just folks that just, you look at a dog and you can tell him, and you can look that he's going to be completely obedient to you when he just literally lays down on the ground. You don't have a fear of that dog attacking you. Pardon my analogy there, but
I'll add to that. I mean,
please.
It's some of those people that simply, they act like they don't know why you're there, and it's a very difficult start. And other people open the door, one of the spouses is already sitting at the kitchen table, and the one that opened the door leads you to the kitchen table. It's like a couple of policies.
Oh, that is fun. That is absolutely fun.
You're going to find enough of those. So even if you're terrified and you're worrying about, well, I don't want to run my lead bill up too much, or you're thinking in those terms, I don't think you're going to be very successful. I don't think that I could give you 4 or 5 leads a week and tell you that I thought you were going to be, extremely successful on that. But if you have the recommended amount of leads, like 10 to 15 fresh leads a week for yourself, and you work those and you turn those into 6 to 10 appointments, you're going to stumble onto enough sales to make money. And as you perfect your craft and get better and better at it, I think the sky's the limit. And I'm going to continue and say, like with my numbers this week, and I'm not talking about, you included deals that I put in last Friday, but actually from Monday on, I had 5 appointments got taken down to 4, and I got in front of 2 people on Monday, and I wrote $3,500 in premium. And I had another call that night, but because I'm trying to train a team and I don't have Del Rice yet really operating and working full time. I'm getting Ginger going first, Del's next, and actually I have a 4th one in St. Louis that I actually got on 2 calls yesterday. His name's Seth Baker. So I have another member of my team starting. And I just called Del, since he's going to be 10 minutes from the appointment, and I gave it to him, trying to help him get going. So I sacrificed maybe the momentum I had that day. I might have wrote $4,000 or $5,000 that day. I let him go. And I turned in, I had 4 appointments in Springfield. I drove 3 hours. I had a horrible day. I had 2 late cancellations, left me stuck down there having to drive home late, and I only got in front of 2 people, and I wrote $1,100 in premium. I had a horrible day, and I made $1,000.
And
So this week I've gotten in front of four people, and I've written 4,500, and I've only actually sat down with like 4 homes.
And what you're hearing from Doug, guys, right now, guys and gals, I apologize because we've got plenty of females on the line and wonderful ones I can see for production numbers too, but real. You're going to have ups and downs in this business. Working with a couple agents up in Michigan yesterday that were having a tough week and almost 2 tough weeks. It happens. You're going to have some no-shows, and sometimes it's tweaking your leads. Kind of what I was going into with Tuesday's call, that we want you out of the cities. We want you out of the folks that who are just sometimes too I don't know any better word other than ignorant to kind of get out of their way, or maybe a better word would be just not very trusting. And they've been so jaded that it's hard for you to be able to build any sort of rapport. So get into the burbs. Get into the burbs. Doug, maybe a couple questions here of agents who are coming through. Phoenix or Mutual of Omaha? Carl's asking, what do you write more of?
In the beginning, a little bit split. I'd say lately more Phoenix, and just the way I keep it simple in my mind for right now until possibly Mutual of Omaha is supposed to, I think, in January to come out with more living benefit riders to kind of match up what Phoenix is doing. I break it down into kind of 2 segments for me. One, somebody that seems to have an interest in a return of premium. If that seems to be an appeal, and it seems to me like that, it seems to be an appeal on more of the younger clientele. That's just in my limited experience, because they feel like they're getting insurance and they're building a savings account. So if the return of premium seems to be a strength when I talk about that, then I stay over there. And then if the living benefit seems to be, well, both the age factor over 65, that's automatically Phoenix, and then Phoenix is more liberal with their underwriting. So they're friendlier, with the cancer and 5-year cancer-free, and with diabetics and things of that nature. So in my initial conversation, I find out there's some health issues there. That steers me towards Phoenix. And then the living benefits that I feel like are so strong with Phoenix. I mean, I wrote myself one of the Phoenix 30-year term policies, and mostly because I like the living benefits.
Good point. Good point.
So I separate it out right there, and I kind of decide based on age and health, and do these benefits kind of, did their eyes light up and they seem interested when I talked about those Phoenix living riders, or did their eyes light up when I talked about getting all their premium back if they don't pass during the term?
I love how you've investigated and say, okay, here there's a drawing line between Phoenix and Moo, and why we focus on Phoenix and Moo from the other 60 carriers that we could write here, guys. Why we focus in on Phoenix and Moo is when you're on our lead program, they are helping us finance the lead up front for you. We have Foresters, we have American Amicable, we have Transamerica. Any one of these companies are wonderful options. Oxford, Lincoln, Prudential. We focus in onto not only just to keep it simple, but because they are helping us, like I said, finance our lead program, so we don't charge you immediately up front for a lead. I'll add to what Doug was saying on the Phoenix. Be prepared they're about 13 business days out from when you submit the application before they approve it. So understand that you're going to be looking at 2 to 3 weeks before, as long as that application gets approved, before you're going to get paid. That's on average. And
Tim,
I
can I inject
love it
something on
for
that?
all other reasons, but that is
Yeah.
a struggle right now.
Can I add something to that?
Please, please.
Turned in a big application last Friday. I think one of the girls in the office that was handling the apps wasn't even there, and it didn't get addressed until Monday. And I actually got paid this morning on it.
Oh, dynamite. Oh, that's good news. I'm not hearing enough of that news. So that is good news, Doug.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Doug was, Carl was also asking, without going into it too much, Carl, about return of premium with Mutual of Omaha, that, or ROP is just a return of premium. You pay extra. So say somebody's paying $50 for their basic mortgage protection, they're going to pay about 2 or 3 times that amount for a minimum of 20 years. Return of premiums are based on either 20 or 30-year plans. It's actually less money if they're going to be paying longer. So a 30-year return of premium is going to be less money than a 20-year. Wrap your mind around that. But basically, when they pay that extra money, they get not only their life insurance premium back, but their return portion as well. So 100% of the money comes back at the end of that 20 or 30 years. Without trying to go into it too much more than that, really focus more on the Doug and his team. Bill, yes, I look forward to being able to maybe touch base with you later on this afternoon, trying to help you get started in the great state of Washington.
Tim, I want to talk a little bit. You know, I think it was a funny story, but before I was going my first trip to Springfield, before I was going to go to bed, I was going to get up at 5 o'clock and drive there for the early appointment. Just to show you really at this stage of the game how unsophisticated I am, that I was trying to read about a couple of the other offshoot products that I never sell and I don't know much about them. And I don't mean like annuities. I'm just talking about some of the other life products. And I started confusing myself at 10:30 at night, and I just pitched the papers over the chair, and I said, there's no reason to confuse myself with all this stuff and getting all these other apps, because I can go down to Springfield and I can sit with, probably 4 families, and just armed with the very basics, my Phoenix term and my Mutual of Omaha, and I know a little bit about some final expense, if that's the only thing I can offer somebody. And I was just like,
wonderful advice.
I don't want to clutter it up, because with my unsophistication and only kind of being comfortable with 2 of these products, I can go make 6 figures. And as I get better with my products through the years or through the months, I'm going to sell more and more. I'm sure there's sales I'm missing, but my point is for the people out there that are on the fence that are kind of intimidated by it, just get yourself 10 or 15 leads and arm yourself with 2 of these basic products that you can keep straight. And if you go get in enough homes, you're going to make 60, 70, 80,000, maybe 6 figures. And,
Goodness,
and
Doug,
those level of jobs are hard to find.
Good advice.
They're hard to find.
That is good advice. Wonderful. You've got a tremendous term product and final expense with Phoenix. You got a tremendous simplified issue term product and final expense with Mutual of Omaha. Mutual of Omaha, in most states, you never want to pass on or miss the children's application or the accidental. Guaranteed issue. So guys, make sure that you learn those products. Everyone who's on the call today, I will send you out Mutual of Omaha's PowerPoints to help you get up to speed on that, as well as Phoenix's to maybe help you get a jump start. Doug, you've been so generous with your time. I try to keep this to 30 minutes, but there's just no way. I think first of the year, I'm going to say this is 11 to noon, so I don't feel so guilty for running over 10 or 15 minutes on this call. Doug, congratulations, my friend. I am so happy for you. You truly have taken this and said, hey, I want a system. How do I implement a system? And I'm so thankful our paths have crossed so that I can show you off to so many other people out there to say that say that you can be a guiding light of saying, guys, if I can do it, I know Lankford can do it because Lankford, he's almost perfect. But thankfully, you know me at all. That is so far from the truth, and yet you can take persons like Doug here with just being a couple years in the business and well on his way to make and surpass six figures in his first year in this business.
Well, I appreciate you having me, and I was more intimidated about this than, going to talk to strangers about protecting their home because, I feel the least qualified, but I just know from past business experience, you got to focus, you got to find a niche and a system that will work, and then you kind of got to exploit it. You got to just keep grinding it out, and as you have those successes, well, then I'm going to learn more about final expense. Then I'm going to learn about annuities. There's sales out there I'm missing, but I'm having success staying focused, and that I'll know when the time is right to kind of spread my wings and branch out a little wider. But it's not right now. Right now, I just need to do what I know how to do and stay focused.
Fantastic. All right. Well, guys, as I've shared with you, and I will tell you every time at the end of these calls, I want you to also be just like what Doug is doing right now. He is being an agent who is making it happen. Sometimes that may require more than 15 or 20 hours worth of work. Sometimes it may require you to be that 60, 70, 80 hours to get out of balance to say, now, wait a minute, I can be smarter over here. So Doug, again, did right on talking about sometimes you've got to get out of balance to get back in balance. Love that book. So you be an agent to go make it happen for your income. You be an agent to go make it happen for your family. And if you do the third thing, you'll take both your family and your income, take care of both of them by going and making it happen for your client. Don't forget about Tuesday. Tuesday, I will send out an email to everyone on this call that will talk about creative sales strategies. When you hear about somebody, how do we know that they're an IUL client? How do we find money in a client's current budget that we don't even have to ask them to? I have an excellent example of Monday night, how that I found money in what they were doing foolishly and made their money work harder for them. Opportunities to be able to say, wait a minute, what about federal income tax returns? Anyhow, you're going to hear some very creative ways to be able to get your clients protected without just getting them another bill, and to be able to, most of all, make their money work harder for them in this little simple mortgage protection presentation that you give to your clients. Guys, have a phenomenal weekend. I wish you Godspeed. God bless you when you go and sit with these clients and you go and protect them. Have a great day. God bless.